In this video, I'm going to show you what to wear for your boudoir photo shoot based off of your measurements. All right, guys, so this whole video is based off of this guide here on my website. I'm going to try and put a link in the description, but sometimes YouTube removes it. So if you can't find it, just go to the top of my website, click on Boudoir Guide, and then from Boudoir Guide, you'll find another section within the Boudoir Guide that is what to wear for your boudoir session. This page is what this whole video is about. There's a tool on that page where you will be able to take your measurements and then input those measurements into a tool, select your budget, and then the tool will make recommendations based off of your measurements and how much you want to spend on your lingerie. So basically, you're going to take your soft tape measure. There's instructions here on the page. It's super simple. You're going to measure your bust, your waist, and your hips. Follow the directions and then just input them. Scroll down a little bit. You'll see a little field here. Just input your measurements into there. Select how much you want to spend, and then hit show my recommendations. It's just going to show you the recommendations. It's not going to ask you for your email or anything like that. It's just going to give you recommendations. Once you get that, it's going to tell you that you're one of 4 body types. It's going to tell you you're an hourglass, a rectangle, a pear, or an apple. So if you just want to know what to wear for your boudoir photo shoot, go to the tool right now, plug in your measurements, and it will give you a really good starting point for what styles you should consider and maybe some brands that you should check out at first. There's a million lingerie brands, but the tool is going to give you a pretty good place to start. For everybody else that wants to know how these results are calculated, that's what the rest of this video is about. So the tool calculates an hourglass body shape by someone who enters in a bust and hip measurement that are roughly equal, roughly the same, and then a waist measurement that's less than 9 inches from that. So say like you had a 30-inch bust and then a 21-inch waist and then a 30-inch hip, that would make you an hourglass. So if you have an hourglass body type and you're like, I'm not a lingerie person and I have no idea what to wear, probably the safest, easiest thing to do is to get a nice quality garter set. That's the top, the bottom, then they got a garter piece, and then that usually ties into a pair of stockings. It always looks good on hourglass body types. Every brand has a version of that. So that's a good, safe place for you to start. The demi bras and the balconettes and all of those kind of things, you can totally do all of those also. So some of the best things you can wear if you have an hourglass body type, corsets look good on everybody, and hourglass body types are no different. You want to think to lightly embellish if you have this body type, so you probably don't want to go too extreme, but they're your photos, so do whatever you want. But anything that exaggerates the hip to waist ratio within reason usually looks pretty good. High-rise thongs, bottoms and stuff like that look really good on hourglass shapes. Again, those high leg holes and getting the straps above the hip bones, that will exaggerate the curves of the hips. So those are all good things. Basically, the things that you want to avoid if you have an hourglass body type is lingerie that is overly shaping your body. Usually something like a padded bra, or shapewear of some kind. It's usually not needed on hourglass body types. Likewise, I would say loose-fitting outfits would be something that you should definitely avoid if you have an hourglass body type. You have all of these curves, and then with some of the vintage style chemises, they're loose-fitting pajamas is basically what they are, old-fashioned loose-fitting pajamas. And they just totally rob you of your curve. You should be able to identify the outline of your body if you have this body type. Now, the rectangle body shape is very similar to the hourglass body shape. It's basically a proportionate bust and hips, and the waist is just not quite as defined as the hourglass. So it's going to be less than 9 inches smaller than the bust or the hips. Corsets are, again, wonderful for square body types because you can actually just shape your waistline, and you will actually look like you have an hourglass body type a lot of times if you just cinch in a little bit with a corset. So again, corsets look pretty good on everybody, and the square body type is no exception to that. A mix and match bra with an underbust corset is a really good idea for square body types because you can define your waist, and then you can find a bra that just fits you perfect up top, and you can get the best of both worlds. that's a pretty cool trick for square body types. And that also works really well on pear body types too, which we'll get to in a minute. For square body types, another really good thing to look at would be teddies with high leg holes. The high leg holes will make you look a little bit more curvy around your hip line. And sometimes you can get deep plunges that will enhance your bust. And sometimes if you get one that fits you really good, it can kind of nudge you from looking like a square body type over to an hourglass body type just by how the lines are cut. So, and likewise, bottoms with high leg holes, panties like thongs or something like that, that you can bring up and over your hip bones, are going to make your hips look curvier in relation to your waist. And that's really good for square body types. Anything you can do to exaggerate that hip to waist ratio is going to be a good move for you. And likewise, choosing lingerie that's going to enhance your bust to your hips is also going to be a good move for your body type. Just like the hourglass body type, you're going to want to avoid loose-fitting chemises. They just do nothing for your curves, and you're going to want to embellish your curves. Shaping bustiers, they're not bad, but if you had to choose between a bustier and a corset, oftentimes the corset's going to be a better shaper. So if you only have money for one, probably go with a corset. Any kind of panties with straight tops are not a good idea if you have a square body type. You want something with high leg holes that you can bring over your hip bones. Once you're able to do that, that will exaggerate your hip line. But bottoms with straight tops will kind of square you off, and you already are a rectangle. So stay away from those. So a pear body type is a bottom heavy kind of a body type. Some women that measure out this way, it's because that's just the way that your body fat distribution is. You just tend to hold it more in your lower body. And for other women, it might be because they're competing in something like wellness, which is like a bodybuilding competition where you overdevelop the lower body compared to the upper body. So the best thing for pear body shapes in most cases is usually just to try and enhance the bust as much as possible. The concern usually is that they're worried that their chest isn't very full and their butt is huge. So one of the best things you can do if you have a pear body type is try and buy lingerie from some of the companies that offer mix and match sets. So if you look in the guide, there's some links to some mix and match lingerie companies that you can check out. So women with this body type tend to say that they have insecurities around the lower tummy. High waist panties would be a really good option for those with that concern. Push-up bras and bralettes would be a really good idea if you're small up top. So push-up bras are really good for like if you have a little bit of volume and then just creating a little bit of curves by pushing them up and in. But for really flat-chested women, bralettes are really good because you can get nice feminine cuts. And then the material almost gives your upper body more curves. So another really cool trick if you have a pear body type is to get like a sweater or something like that and then make it into a midriff sweater. So basically cut the bottom off and make it like a high sweater so that you can actually see your waistline. So any kind of variation like that where you can maybe take something you already have and then just like spice it up and make it into a midriff something, maybe it's a tank top or something like that. You can obscure the area, show off your waistline, show off your hip line, and it really just puts attention on your best assets. So pear body shapes, they should obviously avoid, like plunge tops, things that are trying to bring attention to the chest. Those would probably not be a good idea if you have a pear body shape. The only other thing that you would probably really want to avoid is any kind of open cup anything. So like an open cup bra or an under bust corset without a bra. Those kinds of things, if you're self-conscious about your bust, it'd probably be better to choose something that's either going to enhance that area or obscure it. So the final body type that the tool might spit out is the apple body type. It's basically the reverse pear. It's a woman who has a lot of, she's got a good bust, but she might have narrow hips or, her glutes are underdeveloped or something like that. So these women usually do best to focus on a top that really enhances their bust and draws attention to that. And then any kind of outfit that can embellish their hip line and make that look larger is going to be really good for them. So one of my favorite combos to use on an apple body type would be a corset paired with like a sheer tulle skirt. This is a really cool move because it defines the waistline and then the tulle skirt kind of like poofs out and makes the hips look curvier. So I highly recommend some version of that corset paired with some sort of a skirt or something that kind of like extends your hip line. That's a really elegant way to embellish a apple body type. An underbust corset might be one of the best things you can wear if you have an apple body type. You can do them topless or you can do them with your favorite bra. Why they're so great is it's going to define your waist, and by defining your waist, it's going to make your hips look bigger by comparison. And then you can make the call whether you want to do that topless or pair it with your favorite bra, and it's going to look really awesome either way. Apple body types are really going to want to dial it in with their bra, whether you choose like a demi bra or some sort of a balconette or something. Really find something that's going to just, you know, lightly shape you and just enhance you, because like your best feature is probably going to be your bust. So you're going to want to dress to bring attention there and then try and embellish your hip line after that. So another one of my favorite styles for apple body types are empire waist baby dolls. So these are the baby dolls. Get the ones with bust support probably. And then the waist comes up, you know, just below the bust line and then flares out is what an empire waist baby doll is. And those are really good for creating an illusion of a curvier hip line. Women with apple body shapes should be cautious, let's say, of bodysuits and teddies. These things can offer a little bit of tummy coverage and light shaping, but they're not going to do any kind of like structural shaping like a corset. And they're usually pretty poor about adding curves to the hip line. So this is something that's not really great for apple body types. So be cautious of teddies and bodysuits. They can work, but you got to find a style that's going to exaggerate your hip line, and that's kind of hard to find with those styles. Bustiers would be another wasted opportunity to get the cinching effects of a corset. So, and most, you know, not that a bustier would look bad, but given the choice, a corset would probably go better. And just like the square body types, I would not do flat top panties or low rise thongs and stuff like that. You want higher leg holes for your body type so that you can make your hips appear larger. Guys, that's everything I have for you about what to wear for your boudoir photo shoot. If I missed something, if you have a question, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to help. If you found this video helpful and you'd like to support me, leave me a comment down below. This tells YouTube that this video was helpful. And like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.